Hi, we're the Smiths, a homeschooling family that loves to travel every chance we get, and we're currently on our most ambitious adventure yet, 5 weeks in Southern Europe. We're documenting our experiences and learning through videos for friends and family to follow along. So after leaving Madrid, we took a high-speed train to Barcelona. After getting into the city, we spent the day at the Science Center. I thought it would be just a minor part of our visit because my husband last minute said, let's try to go into the Science Center. But it ended up being a highlight for our boys. It is considered one of the best science centers in Europe, and it only cost us 20 euros to get in because kids are free. So it's a super affordable activity for families. Here's what the kids loved about the museum. They loved the Amazon rainforest. There was a capybara, a caiman, and this cute little family of fish. The dad and the mom kept chasing other fish away from their babies. It was really fun to watch them, so protective. There were lots of hands-on science experiments. We spent a couple hours there and only on one of the 5 levels. That night, Theo was up most of the night with an ear infection, so we only did one thing that day, a trip out to Montserrat. We made a picnic lunch and headed out early in the morning. And one of my boys is going to help me tell you a little bit more about it.
A big monster in the mountains, so it would get destroyed because there's a thing called the Black Madonna. Some monks found out. It got destroyed in the war, Napoleon's war.
Yeah. And then how did we get there? Because it was way up in the mountains.
At Sky Tram.
The Sky Tram. Yeah. What was your favorite part about it?
Probably Sky Tram.
Yeah.
Actually, the sandwiches.
The sandwiches were pretty good, huh? That night, Aaron and I escaped to learn the tango. This was an Airbnb experience that Aaron found. We made our way across the city to a little apartment rooftop by La Rambla. We learned to dance the tango and had a wonderful time. Our instructors were so fun. They were Argentinian and so funny and made the night just really special. And it was very nice to have my brother there to watch the boys for a couple hours so we could take a break. And our last day was all about Gaudi. And if you're not familiar with that name, Gaudi was an architect from the Catalan region. We read a few books about him before leaving on our trip, and I'll leave some links in the description to all the books that we read before we went to Spain, and then some that we haven't read that I'm planning on reading when we get home. We learned that he had rheumatoid arthritis as a kid, so he didn't go to school very often. He spent a lot of time in nature and learned a lot from it. And this knowledge came out in his architectural designs. I learned about him in college and have always wanted to go see him, so this trip was a dream come true for me. We were just going to look at the outside of Casas Mia and Batllo, but we ended up getting a tour of the inside of Casa Batllo. And this seriously was a highlight of the trip for me. I loved this house so much. I could spend an entire video talking all about it. The way Gaudi incorporated nature in a beautiful and functional way is so inspiring to me. Everyone in the group, even Theo, was interested and inspired the whole time. I highly recommend going on that tour if you are in Barcelona. And Sagrada Familia was next, and also amazing.
My favorite thing about visiting Sagrada Familia was smooth the rocks were and how curvy the place was. It had like no straight line. At the top of the big people, we used the elevator up, and then we walked around and looked at all the cool stuff. We went down a big cool staircase. It looked like a big black hole, kind of. The outside, it looks really cool. Like there's all these things. It's kind of hard to explain. Doors, they were really cool. They had like all these angels and God, and I can't even explain.
After Sagrada Familia, we wanted to eat at a place that had Catalonian food, but it had a really long line. And so right across the street, there was this little hole-in-the-wall restaurant that we said, okay, we'll just go eat there. It wasn't crowded. There was a lot of space, and I was honestly pretty skeptical, but it was so good.
For the appetizers, they had little like clam shells, and they still had some of the meat inside, and they roasted them in this like broth with herbs. So you would get it, and it would have the broth in it, and you'd use it like a spoon, and then eat the meat. And they also had mushrooms with herbs.
That one was really good. That was probably my favorite appetizer.
And then they also had these like huge shrimp that were like 2 inches long. Then you'd have to like take off the shell and the sharp little legs and eat the meat, and it was good. It was kind of sweet. And they had really good baguette bread. I think that's all the appetizers. The entrees, they had a big sausage with beans, white beans, and Desmond liked the beans. He really liked them. I liked the sausage. It was pretty good. They also had like a Hot Pocket thing with tomato sauce and fish. And they had fish and like cool steak.
And we didn't know what anything on the menu said because it was in Catalonian, which is different than Spanish and French. So we just asked the
guy to bring
waiter.
us what we think.
Yeah, we're like, just bring us what you think is really good. So that was fun. It was kind of a surprise. Mm-hmm. And what about the desserts?
There was these like weird, like it had like marshmallow cream and cheesecake. This one looked like a boob with marmalade on it.
We read a lot of books about Picasso before leaving, and we were planning on going to the Picasso Museum. We wanted to see the Arc de Triomphe and go to a flamenco dance, but I guess it's good to leave some things unvisited so you have an excuse to visit again in the future. So after 3 days in Barcelona, we are headed to our next destination, which is also a surprise. So check back in a few days to see where we are headed next.